Hey guys, my name is Chris, aka Lamb Chop Poker. As you guys probably know, this is gonna be my first poker vlog. Um, I'm pretty much gonna be focusing on playing and showing you guys some hands of short deck. Uh, that's pretty much the only game I play right now. I don't really play long deck too much anymore. You guys don't know what short deck is? Basically, it's when you take out the twos, threes, fours, and fives in the deck, leaving only 36 cards in the deck. Um, the equities run a lot closer. The game's pretty swingy. There's a lot of action. Think of it as like a combination of regular no limit hold'em, full deck, and PLO. It's a ton of fun. Honestly, it's really fun. Um, so you can use an ace as a five in a low straight since there's no cards under six. You can use the ace as a five, so ace, six, seven, eight, nine would be the low straight. All the other straights are the same. The best straight would be Broadway still. Also, a flush beats a full house because there's only nine of each suit. It's pretty difficult to hit a flush in this game. Um, don't see it too often. Full house you're gonna see much more often than a flush. Also, the best way to play this game is basically with antes. Um, Instead of like small blind, big blind, we have like, for instance, my game is $1 ante, so everyone pays the $1, and we have a double ante on the button, so the button pays $2 instead of one every hand. So what this does is it's better for this specific game. You're gonna see a lot more limping pre-flop. Not too much. Not too many like you know raises, three bets, four bets, five bets getting it in pre-flop because the equities do run very close. Hands like aces, kings, ace king, they're still very strong hands, but they're definitely not the strongest hands in this game pre-flop. Hands like Jack 10 suited, Queen 10, Queen Jack, tens, jacks, those hands are gonna flop a lot better most of the time than hands like Ace Ace King King. Um, that's pretty much why antes are just it works better for this game. You know, Small blind, big blind. People have tried that with short deck. It just doesn't work as well. So I do like the ante system. It's a lot more action. It's very easy to just limp and call raise pre-flop with a lot more hands. Lots of hands have more playability than regular no limit hold'em full deck. You're not gonna see hands like ace seven off or 4-2 off that are just like completely unplayable in short deck. There are a lot more playable hands. Even hands like 9-7 suited have a lot of merit in this game. Hands like Queen 10, where in long deck it's not that good. Queen 10 is actually a very strong hand pre-flop in short deck. All right, so I played this session yesterday. So we play $1 ante, $2 on the button, and we usually buy in for just 100 antes, so just $100. So you guys are probably used to like full deck, so like usually buying maybe like 100 big blinds. This game we buy in 100 antes, so it's actually more like 50 big blinds that we start with. Um, this kind of game, it's kind of a little bit more difficult to play really deep. So something like 200 antes or 100 big blinds. That kind of starting stack, it's a little more difficult to navigate. So I do like starting with the 100 ante system. It works out pretty well. You can take your shots early. You can try to build up a stack, and building up a stack early in these cash games is actually it's pretty important because you have a bigger stack and everyone has like 100 antes. You can kind of bully them a little bit. You can get them off a lot of equity when you wouldn't be able to if you had like a smaller stack or about the same stack. All right, so I do have a few hands here that kind of defined my session from yesterday. So let's just go over those hands. Alright, so in this hand, the two other players that are in this hand with us, we're about $250 effective. So 250 ante, so we've kind of run it up just a little bit. So we're in the hijack here with Jack 10 suited, which is, it's a great hand. Jack 10 suited is actually the nuts in this game pre-flop. You're just gonna hit so many flops really favorably because all the cards are close together. The lowest card is a 6. You're gonna see a lot of flops with Jack 10 suited, like flush draws. You're gonna see like open-ended straight draws. A lot of combo draws. Like gut shots in this game are actually really strong. A gut shot on the flop is actually about 25% equity. And you think of a gut shot in like a regular full deck, you only have 4 outs, like it's not that great. But in short deck, that's 25% equity, on the flop by the river, which is pretty good. Open-ended straight flush draw is actually 60% to improve by the river. So the equities in this game are extremely different, and it takes a lot of getting used to it. I've been playing this game for about 2 months, so I'm still learning. Uh, so if you guys play short deck, if you have any criticism of my play or any questions, or feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. If you think I suck and I played a hand terribly, please let me know. I really appreciate the advice, criticism. Anything's good. All right, so this first hand, as I said, I have Jack 10 clubs in the hijack. We're $250 effective. We have 2 limps from early position. So the UTG +2 player, he raises to 12. The low jack re-raises to 35, and it folds over to us. And we're the hijack, so right after the low jack. So I do end up calling for 34 more. This is because the hand as strong as Jack 10 suited. I do want to see a lot of flops here. I'm going to connect so well with so many flops, right? If I put in a re-raise here, I put in a 3-bet to like say 100, I only have like 150 behind. Someone jams on me. Yeah, with this type of hand, I'm probably gonna call. I'm probably gonna call 2 players. If they're jamming on me, if I raise her, they jam on me. I probably have something like Ace King, Ace Ace, King King, hands like that, which we do have really good equity against. Against Ace Ace with no clubs, we actually have 40% equity against aces. Like say two red aces, we have 40% equity, which is pretty crazy, right? And against Ace King off, we're actually a slight favorite, maybe like 51, 52%. So, I could put in the raise here, but I do want to see a flop, and if we want to give the initial raiser in early position a chance to, he can either call here, good pot odds, or if he raises, we have a good opportunity to jam, and maybe get him off some equity. Maybe he's trying to make a move, but I do make the call, and that early position player actually just calls. Good pot odds for $23 more. So we take it to a flop. The pot is $113, and this is pretty much as good as we can hope for on the flop with this kind of hand. We have a open-ended straight flush draw, extremely strong hand. So here, the player from early position, he doesn't re-raise, so I don't think he has kings or aces here. He probably has something along the lines of maybe ace king, king queen, probably one of those hands. The low jack, also I don't think the low jack would have a hand that's too strong when he calls. Probably something like along the lines of something we have, or well, Jack 10's a good hand, but he could have a hand like Queen 10, Jack 10, maybe a King Queen suited, something like that. So let's just see how the action develops. The early position player does bet 55 into this pot. The low jack calls, so again, the low jack just calls here. I feel like he does have probably a hand like King Jack, King 10, not too strong. And the early position player, the initial raiser, same thing, maybe he has like Ace King. He's not betting that big, so probably like a 1-pair hand, maybe King 9 suited possibly, but not too strong. I don't think he has kings or aces, so no matter what here, we have really good equity. I feel like if we just jam here, some of those hands might call us, and you know we would be a favorite against pretty much any hand except for pocket kings. And pocket kings were pretty much a coin flip, and you know if he does, he's gonna snap call, and you know we're flipping, which is not that bad. So here I do decide to jam for the rest of my stack to 15. Um, you know what I'm trying to do is try to deny them you know what equity they have, because in this game equities run really close. Like no matter what, even hands like you know king 7, king jack, king queen, they have a lot of equity against us. We are a favorite, but we want to deny them of that equity. So I do go for the jam. I go for the value. So they actually both call for 160 more. Turns to ace, not a good card. You know if he had like ace king, they have 2 pair now. I mean, not too much of a difference, but you know we don't hit. So reverse bad card, probably dead. So it turns out that the under the gun player +2 actually had pocket aces. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he only called with pocket aces pre-flop there. Turns out the low jack actually had king 10, so we kind of put the low jack player on kind of a correct range there. I'm surprised the early position player showed up with pocket aces, but you know what can you do? It's a pretty good situation for us. You know they both called with you know not that strong of a hand against our huge draw, so we kind of take that situation every time. We can't win every pot. Okay, so this next hand here, maybe an hour after that last hand. Effective stack here is about 500. I think we have about 600, 650 at this point. The loose aggressive player on the button has about 500, so that's why the effective stack is about 500. So we actually limp under the gun with pocket 10s. So with pocket 10s here, it's actually a pretty strong hand. This is actually probably a stronger hand than like aces, kings, and queens pre-flop. Aces, kings, and queens, you know, you're not really gonna hit flops that are that strong unless you hit like, you know, your set. Even then, you know, it's not that great. You might not know where you're at. Pocket 10s, the reason why it's good is, you know, 10s are very powerful in this game. You block a lot of straights. You block broadways all the way down to the 10 high straight. The only one you don't block is the ace 6 7 8 9. So pocket 10s, you know, it's not just about flopping a set here. It's about blockers, right? Sort of like PLO. And with 10s, you know, you can. So say the flop comes like, you know, jack, queen, king or something. You know, someone has an ace, you know, looking for a 10. You know, you're blocking that. You know, their gut shot's pretty much, you know, no good there. Same thing the other way. You know, maybe flop is like something like 8 9 jack. Again, you're blocking that gut shot. Okay, I don't know what that was. It's pretty loud. Anyway, okay, so pocket 10s here. I am looking to see flops because I don't really want to raise here and then get re-raised. You know, we're pretty deep, so it's not that great a situation. I do want to see some flops here. So again, I limp 7 other limps, and the button raises to 22. I call, everyone else folds. So the flop here, big flop. We flop pretty much the second nuts. Only thing that really beats us here is, you know, pocket 10s or king 10, but there's only 2 combos of king 10. There's only one 10 out there. So we're pretty good here. So what I'm thinking here is, you know, his raising range here, he could have ace king. He has a lot of kings. Ace king, king queen, king jack. Maybe he has something like queen jack suited, which he's going to continue with all those hands. So, you know, if I do bet here, I think he would probably put in a raise with pretty much all of those hands. And, you know, if he doesn't have a king, you know, we're not really going to pick up too much value. If he has aces, you know, we probably wouldn't get that much value out of it. So I do bet 60 here into a pot of 56. Again, in this game, bet sizing is going to be up a little bit. So even if you bet pot, you're giving your opponent 2-to-1 odds to call, you know, and a lot of the time, these big hands, these big draws, they're gonna have, you know, the right odds to call, even when you bet pot. So on a board like this, where we have the second nuts and our opponent's likely range is probably a king, I would probably even like a little bigger bet sizing here, maybe 65 to 70. I do end up betting 60 here, and the button actually re-raises to 170. So again, with all those hands, all those king hands that he might have had, you know, I do expect him to re-raise. So this is a good situation here. I figured, you know, he has those hands, I can just jam here, and maybe he even folds a weak king to us. You know, I mean, that's not the best situation, but you know, I do want to get in here. You know, there might be some bad cards. You know, if he has something like king ace, king queen, king jack, one of those cards comes on the turn, or another king, you know, we're pretty much dead. So I figure, you know, I should probably just get in here, and he's probably going to call off with a lot of those hands anyway. So I do jam for 412 more, actually, not 412 total. The button does make the call. Turn looks safe, 9 of diamonds, and then ace on the river, which could be bad, because I did put him on a range of like ace king, ace queen, or ace king, king queen, king jack, something like that. And he does muck, so I figured he probably had, you know, king queen there. So we do scoop up that huge pot, $1,012. That's pretty good. Alright, this next hand, so we're under the gun +1, about $500 effective. I think I have probably around 1,000 at this point. Nothing much has happened since that last hand. So the player in the low jack is the one involved with us. He has about 500. So he's been chipping up a little bit. And so we raise under the gun +1 to 12. This player in the low jack is actually extremely tight. Hasn't been making too many moves. So the low jack, I think it folds over to the low jack, and he does call for 11. Okay, so this flop here, we flop middle pair and a gut shot. So not the greatest hand. Middle pair is pretty bad. We do have gut shot outs, but in general, second pair is not going to be good. So given this is a really tight player and he just called us, could have hands here like, I don't think he'd have ace king, ace ace king king. He would have probably re-raised us. So I'm thinking maybe he has something like ace jack, you know, maybe even ace queen, ace 10. If he has ace queen, ace 10 here and we lead out, he's probably going to raise those really strong hands. Maybe he even has queen queen. So we expect queen queen, ace queen, ace 10, pocket 10s to all raise us here. So you can put out a bet and fold to a big raise. He's probably never bluffing in the spot. But if he does have something like ace jack, maybe ace 9 suited, maybe even a draw, maybe he has something like jack 9 suited, if he has king jack, you know, we're pretty much dead. We're definitely going to see a raise. So I do put out a bet of 40. I overbet the pot a little bit. Don't give him good odds. This kind of tight player, even if he has like jack 9 suited here, unless he has jack 9 of spades, I don't think he would call. So we do go for this kind of you know, kind of the stab bet with second pair, and we do have, you know, gut shot outs to the nuts. We bet 40, and he does muck, and those are pretty much really only those three hands really kind of define the session. The last hand, not so much, but I just wanted to show that you can take stabs with like second pair, especially against like tighter players. If you can put them on a range where, you know, you're not giving them good odds to call. You know, a lot of the time, you know, they'll either come over the top if they have a really strong hand to protect, or you know, they'll just fold and you know, you'll take a lot of those pots where you can chip up. Alright, so that's pretty much it. You know, thanks everyone for watching. I know production quality on this video is pretty low. You know, I'm not really good at editing yet, but please bear with me. This is my first video, not just poker vlog, but you know, first video on YouTube. So you know, I will get better. You know, thanks everyone for watching.